So let's wait a couple minutes for the tester to settle down. We'll test it out and go from there. We're right on E85. All right, fill up is done. Let's put her back. $48. All right, let's start her up. And as you can see, we are low on fuel, 10 miles to empty. Just what I got to deal with the E85. In this video, we're going to be talking about E85 and the gas mileage on the Mustang. I've been tuned on the E85 for, I want to say 500 miles or so, and it's been a really blast driving this thing. I was kind of skeptical before getting the E85 tune, but I'm a believer right now. The car feels really good, but of course the downside is the fuel, and everyone has talked about it online that if you do go E85, it does burn faster, about 30% faster. So we're gonna go ahead and fill it up, talk about what kind of miles per gallon I'm getting since I've tuned it compared to when I had the 93 tune, because there is a good bit of difference. It's not so bad, but you just gotta deal with it. So we're gonna go ahead and go to the E85 station and fill her up. I hope I can make it because I already got 10 miles to empty, but hopefully it's not too bad. Although there's few gas stations near me that have E85, the one I'm going to right now has been very consistently like E80 and above. The other ones are like 75, 76, so even though it's a little bit further out, I feel like it's worth the drive because I still got my tester here because I'm still going to test it out. But if I had to rely on it, I could probably just go in and fill it up. To me, I just fill up once a week, which is honestly not too bad. So I fill it once a week, and I typically ends up being on the weekend, so I don't mind, you know, doing a little 2 minutes extra and getting the tester out and making sure it's testing fine before I fill her up. Although I have to say, I'm kind of starting to notice not the downside, but just the inconvenience of it. Like yesterday, I was out and I was basically running errands, and I was supposed to go somewhere, and I had just enough fuel where I was like, it might be a little bit risky. And I was like, I don't think it's worth it. So I actually brought the car back home, which is why you see pretty much it's empty. And I switched the car and I picked up the G37 and then went where I was supposed to go. So normally if it was 93, I would just get I would just get the gas from any gas station nearby. There was like tons of gas stations nearby, but I had to do a little bit extra to drop the car off, pick up the G37, and then go where I was supposed to go. So kind of inconvenient. It hasn't been an issue since I've had it because, like I said, I typically fill it up once a week and it ends up being on the weekend, so I don't mind putting like, 5-10 minutes extra to, test out the fuel and do all of that stuff. But yesterday I was like, hey man, that is kind of inconvenient, but the power gains are worth it. So let's go ahead and see what miles per gallon I'm getting. So let's do trip and fuel info. So I have driven about 532 miles on E85, and I am getting a whopping 13.7 miles per gallon. For that kind of a miles per gallon, I should be boosted. I used to get about 20 to 21, depending on how I drove, maybe sometime 19 miles per gallon with the 93 tune. So it is burning about 30% faster, as they kind of said. So that was kind of expected. In terms of cost, it's more or less the same because I pay close to over $4 per gallon with the 93, but this one is like around $3 per gallon. So when you really kind of calculate the cost, it ends up being more or less the same. So I'm not really paying more, but it's just annoying that I'm getting less miles per gallon with each tank. So I'm constantly having to go ahead and fill it up a little bit more frequently. I want to say 93 tune. When I was filling it up with 93, I would probably fill it up, I want to say, once a week also, but maybe I could stretch it out to 10 days if I could. But with the E85, I have to do it once a week no matter what. And if I drive a little bit more than I normally would, it's going to have to be like middle of the week I have to fill it up. So that's definitely annoying with the E85. But yeah, 13.7 miles per gallon. So if you're considering E85, but you do drive a lot, cost-wise, it's not going to be a lot different, but you are going to be constantly within the gas pump. You fill the E85, which could be worth it, could not be worth it, depending on how you want to go about it. That's why, like, when people are like, oh, if you boost your car, you can, go E85, do the fuel pump, and you can make some crazy numbers. I'm like, I can barely do this on an NA setup, and NA has like a little bit more flexibility in terms of, if I have E80, E75, it's not going to make much of a difference. Even if I get E70, like, I think it's okay. But if you're boosted and you get like some bad E85, it can do some serious damage to the engine. So I would never, as much as it's fun to chase numbers, I don't think I'll ever get to a position where I want to go a boosted E85 setup. The whole inconvenience of it's just not worth it. I mean, if it's like 13.7 miles per gallon with the NA setup, then with the boosted setup, you're probably in 10s. And I'm pretty much at the gas station like every few days, and that is not worth it, especially if it's a daily. Now, a weekend or a track car, yeah, you can make it work. And we just got at the gas station. We got the tester ready. I really need to get a funnel because I always make this mess. The funnel I have just doesn't fit this tester bottle, and I've been too lazy. But you can see it's $3.25 for E85 versus $4.50 for 93. So that's the cost savings. So even though you're getting less miles per gallon, you definitely get, you know, more or less the same price you're going to pay out of pocket. So let's wait a couple minutes for the tester to settle down. We'll test it out and go from there. It's been a couple minutes and you can see we're right on E85, E84, and that is a really good plan. That's what I love about this gas station. It's been very consistent. I still test it to be safe, but yeah, it's been very consistent. Let's go ahead and get some fill-ups. That honestly has to be the highest E content I've seen at this gas station. Has always been like E80, E82, but right now it's E85, and I think I'm gonna get really good timing, so I'm really excited for that. I feel like it's safe to say I don't really need to test it anymore for each fill-up, because this has always been over E80, and Lund said between E75 and E85 it's good. So even if I got one bad blend for 75-ish, I think it's fine. But yeah, we're still going strong with the E85. $24, 7.5 gallons, something I've never seen with the 93 on the car. I want to say it's going to be probably around $45 or so, because it was pretty empty, maybe close to $50, but honestly it's not bad. All right, fill-up is done. Let's put her back. $48, so pretty close. So I had about 1.2 gallons left on here. So I pretty much drained it out. I probably shouldn't be doing that because 1.2 gallons is just really getting to the bottom of it. So I got to be careful with it. I have literally 212 miles to eat. That's how bad it is. One full tank is probably going to be closer to 200 miles to eat, depending on how I drive. If I'm really getting aggressive with it, probably closer to 200 miles, which is pretty bad. So if you do drive a lot, you're going to be filling up a lot. So that's one consideration. Even though the money's going to be the same, it is not going to be pretty, because you gotta keep coming to the gas station and fill up every few days. But yeah, guys, these are just the things you gotta deal with the E85. The gas mileage is gonna suffer. Everyone talks about it. 30% is more or less accurate, because I used to get 19 to 20 miles per gallon with the 93 tune. Now I'm getting 13.7, 14 miles per gallon. My driving style or anything like that hasn't changed, obviously. I'm getting on it a little bit more maybe, so I could probably see close to 14, but yeah, 30% sounds about right, more or less, because I'm getting like 6 miles per gallon less. Cost is going to be the same. You're just going to be at the pump a lot more frequently than you did with the 93 tune. Is it worth it? I think it's worth it. I think that the timing, I'm seeing about 29 degrees of timing based on my data log versus 23 degrees on timing on 93 octane. So there's a good bit of difference where you do feel the power. It is a lot more responsive. It pulls strong in the mid-range and, you know, all the way to red line. It has made this car a lot more fun. Of course, the frequent gas station trips are just not as fun, but there is trade-off. You know, that's what you gotta do. There's some trade-offs over there. And the trade-offs, to me, I think are worth it. If you don't drive a lot within a week, basically, I think they're worth it. You're probably gonna stop once a week to the gas station, which is what I was doing, so it doesn't feel any different to me. If I was stopping at the gas station like every 3-4 days, I would probably switch back to 93. The power difference is definitely worth it. You just gotta balance based on your driving style. If the inconvenience of going to the gas station more frequently, maybe even testing the fuel. I always do it. Like I said, it takes me a couple minutes to test this fuel just as a precaution. You probably don't need to do it if you're consistent getting E80-ish, which is what I'm getting at this gas station. But yeah, all that inconvenience adds up. And if you're not driving too much, I think it's worth going E85 just for the power gains. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Just the E85 and some of the downsides with it, with the gas mileage, of course. But honestly, the power is worth it. Well, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Make sure you're subscribed if you're new to the channel, because we're going to be doing more E85. We're going to take it to the track and just test it out between 93 versus E85. So I'll catch you guys in the next video.